This is a proposal for a composting initiative at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, presented by Becky Manbeck, Maddie McCowd, and Kobe Huerta.
As stated by the Natural Resource Defense Council, getting food to our tables eat up about 10% of the total U.S. energy budget, uses 50% of U.S. lands, and swallows 80% of fresh water consumed in the United States. Yet 40% of the food in the United States today goes uneaten. That is more than 20 pounds of food per person every month. Not only does this mean that Americans are throwing out the equivalent of $165 billion each year, but also 25% of all fresh water and huge amounts of unnecessary chemicals, energy, and land. Currently, food waste in landfills account for 23% of the world's methane production. So taking that food waste out of landfills will decrease the amount of harmful greenhouse gases that end up in our atmosphere. Our solution to this issue is composting. Compost is created by combining organic materials from food waste and decomposing it down over time and turning it into usable soil. The purpose of our initiative is to request funding to start a composting on the UAF campus in order to reduce food waste and to help reduce methane in our atmosphere. The created compost can then be used in the botanical and community gardens on campus.
A compost initiative is currently being successfully utilized at a university in Chicago. According to the Loyola University in Chicago, they collect campus compost from dining facilities, after special events, and via a take-home bucket program. This has reduced the amount of organic waste that ends up in landfills by 150 to 200 tons annually. 20% of all campus waste is now turned into compost, and that compost is used by local farms and gardens. The University of Alaska Fairbanks currently does not have its own composting program in place. Food waste from campus dining facilities is being disposed of in normal waste baskets and added to area landfills. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, if organic matter used for composting was separated in campus dining halls, it could reduce waste production by 0.4 pounds per person per day. And in a study performed by Tina Wolitzek and her team, it was discovered that university composting programs increased environmental awareness of students. The Natural Resource Defense Council also states that food waste in landfills accounts for 23% of the world's methane production, and only about 3% of food waste is composted. Composting at UAF could help minimize these effects that are harmful to our environment. Our proposed project is to use industrial-sized composting facilities to decrease the amount of food waste that the campus dining center produces on an annual basis. The steps for doing this are 1. To educate students, staff, faculty, and Chartwell employees on the importance and relative simplicity of composting. This will help to make the people with the most impact aware of its benefits. 2. We will find a location that the industrial-sized composting system could be housed, and we plan on using a Windows composting system. Next, we will be constructing receptacles that could be used to collect the food waste at the Wood Center. And then last, once we have collected enough food waste, we will begin the cycle of composting it, and once the composting has finished and the organic material is ready, we will be using it in the Charles Georgeson Botanical Garden, the UAF Campus Community Garden, or other agricultural sites on the University of Alaska Fairbanks campus. Any leftover organic material will be sold in order to further fund the project.
So to conclude, to begin this initiative, we are requesting $155,400 to create a composting program on the UAF campus. If granted the requested funding, UAF will become a leading organization involved in increasing environmental awareness and reducing unnecessary waste in the state of Alaska. Here are a few resources we used when creating our proposal. We have done adequate research when it comes to this topic and feel that we are well prepared to carry out this project.